It is unfortunate and sad that most African Americans do not understand the fight that we're up against. And the younger African Americans, many of them, not only do they not understand it, but they reject the knowledge that those of us who are out here fighting this fight can teach them. Our enemies are in the court system, Congress, state legislatures, the business world, all waging this serious racial war against African Americans, a war that has lasted for centuries. And not only do we not have a defense, we don't have a counterattack. Michelle Obama, in her speech last night at the DNC, she crystallized what this fight is all about. In a very short clip, I want to play for you what she said and explain why it was so significant. Stay with me. Hello, everybody. I am attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers, and each and every week we bring you at least one legal analysis of some story trending regarding politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you with the information you need to defy this unjust legal system and to nullify systemic racism. If that interests you, and I don't know why it would not if you're an African American, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll get notified every time we upload one of these powerful videos. Now, go to Amazon, grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African American son in public schools, you will thank me for grabbing your copy of this book, because the things that are happening to African American male students in public school is horrible. And you need to know what those things are so that you will know how to fight them. Grab a copy of my book. Now, I want to go straight to Michelle Obama and something she said last night in her convention speech that I want to talk about. It's very important. Listen to this.
Most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth. If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. No. We put our heads down. We get to work. In America, we do something.
Powerful. Did I say powerful? Powerful. The affirmative action of generational wealth. Because, as she explained, we don't have the luxury of failing forward. We don't have the luxury of being able to change the law and change the rules so that we win all the time. That's how Trump lives. That's how white people with white privilege live. And not only do they have affirmative action of generational wealth, and why do I say that? Because the average white family has 10 times more wealth than the average black family. And you may ask, why do they have 10 times the wealth of black families? Well, it's an easy answer. 400 years of racial oppression, which includes 240 years of chattel slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, and current-day systemic racism. That, therefore, affords them the affirmative action of generational wealth. But not only do they have the affirmative action of generational wealth, but they also have gutted affirmative action for the rest of us. You see, we're getting hammered on both sides. They have white privilege. They have white power. And with that white power, they're able to take away those things that could help us rise up. They, with white power, are able to change the laws. And that's real important that you understand a lot of this fight is about the law. I don't talk enough on this channel about our law practice and the fact that we are literally civil rights lawyers who are in the courthouse, in courtrooms, fighting this civil rights battle. What do we fight this battle with? We fight it with laws, the laws that have been enacted, the laws that are on the books. And our enemies are doing everything they can to change those laws, to gut those laws, to get rid of those laws. Because without those laws, we can't wage this warfare. We cannot counterattack. We cannot counterpunch without those laws. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the law behind it, 42 USC Section 1981 that we use, Chloe and I use every day to fight racial discrimination that they're trying to get rid of. 42 USC Section 1983 that we use to fight police brutality, and many other laws that we use on a daily basis to fight this fight against racism. But what are they doing? They are behind the scenes gutting these laws. And most African Americans do not understand what that means until they need to file a lawsuit because they have been discriminated against. And then that's when it hits them in the face. I told you some weeks ago about how Project 2025 is trying to get rid of something in the law we call disparate impact. Disparate impact, which simply means that if Black folks are being affected by something, some policy, some law, disproportionately, then that is the basis to claim, to show, to demonstrate, to prove that is evidence that that particular policy is racist. Well, they're trying to get rid of that. And they're trying to get rid of so many other things behind the scenes. Trump doesn't ever talk about this. Trump never mentions this. When he's talking to Black folks in churches and barbershops, he never mentions that it's his crowd that are behind the scenes trying to dismantle all of these laws that have enabled the African American community to rise from poverty. He doesn't mention that. And those Blacks who support MAGA and support Trump, they don't know either. Now, those Black conservatives like Ben Carson, he knows because he tried to help Trump gut the Fair Housing Act. He knows. Byron Donalds knows. Tim Scott, they know. But the average Black out here talking about voting for Trump and Project 2025 is not a threat to African Americans. They don't understand. And when you try to tell them, they reject it. I'm so concerned about the next generation of African Americans who are listening to this new Black media. Oh my God. Not only do they not have the benefit of understanding what's going on under the hood, but as I said earlier, they reject knowledge and are listening to people who are completely ignorant of what white supremacists, white conservatives are doing behind the scene. So yes, as Michelle Obama said, Trump and many other white people have the benefit of affirmative action, of generational wealth, but they gutted affirmative action to help some young Black kid from the ghetto or from the farms from having the opportunity to rise above his circumstances. You see, that's the enemy that we're dealing with, an enemy that does everything possible to protect white privilege, white advantage, white supremacy, but work double hard to make sure black folks don't have those same benefits. That's precisely what Michelle Obama was talking about in her speech when she said, again, we don't have those advantages. We don't have the opportunity to change the laws. We don't get 4 and 5 and 6 chances. She said, and she was absolutely correct, what we have to do is do something. We have to do something. We have to work harder. We have to be twice as good. And that's unfair, but it is what it is. And my great concern is that we simply don't understand the fight that we're up against. We simply don't understand what they're doing to undermine everything the African American community is working to build. You see, when they talk about make America great again, they literally want to take us back at least to Jim Crow, at least to the Jim Crow era. And I'm telling you, from being a practicing civil rights attorney, they are doing it. And if Trump gets back in office again and gets another chance, him and the crowd of people that he brings into office with him, that Project 2025 crowd, I am warning you. I'm issuing a stern warning that they're going to really, really this time accelerate all the efforts that they're doing to try to hold on to power, to protect white privilege, and to dismantle everything that we have worked for, our ancestors died for us to have. And that's another problem with this young generation coming behind us. They disrespect the sacrifices, the wisdom of our ancestors. They knew what it was like to live without the Voting Rights Act of 1965. They knew they lived under that sort of terroristic tyranny of white supremacy. It is black people today who doesn't understand. And it's that generation behind us that have had it so good that they're now taking for granted the very protections, the laws that African Americans in the previous generation fought for us to have. So this is just a really concerning time that we're living in. We're being pummeled. We're confronted by a radicalized version of white supremacy. And I know some of these young men from this new black media say things like Project 2025 is not that bad because we've always dealt with a Project 2025. That statement is illogical because we have made considerable progress. And so we don't dismiss Project 2025 because of past slavery, past Jim Crow, and make the argument that Project 2025 is no different than what we've already experienced. That's illogical. The way we need to look at this is Project 2025 wants to take us back to those days. And that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against going back to those days. So yes, of course, we went to things that were worse than Project 2025. And that's the whole point. We don't want to go back to those days, and that's what Project 2025 is attempting to do. So yes, I'm deeply concerned as a civil rights attorney, just seeing what is going on in the court system, having an understanding of constitutional law, having an understanding of criminal law, seeing the criminal justice system up close and personal every day, and seeing how it just chews up black men in particular. And to see this crowd of young black men embrace Donald Trump is very disheartening as they listen to, again, this new black media group that lacks the advantage of history and the inside knowledge that they reject, that they could get from those of us who are actually in this system, fighting this system. I've been fighting this system now for decades, fighting against white supremacy and fighting for African-American men specifically. And to see the attitude of many of these young black men today, it is again very disheartening. But like Michelle Obama said, you black man, you won't get the chance to fall forward. You won't get the chance to have 5 and 6 and 7 opportunities to fix and correct your mistakes. You won't get a golden ride up the escalator. You need to stop trusting these white supremacists. I don't care how much Trump laughs in your face. That man is not for black people. I'm attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Thank you for tuning in. And until the next time, peace.